Are you doing some hiring, or maybe are you in the market for a new job and you've got some expectations? Well, tell you what, things have changed when it comes to especially younger people and what they expect. And yes, everybody wants to make more money. I have yet to meet anybody who's told me, hey, Paul, I'm really hoping to make less money. Really hoping I can find somebody who will pay me less. But flexible work schedules, working from home during rough weather, flex time. It's no longer a luxury. It's a requirement. It's a necessity. If you want to get the cream of the crop and some of the best people out there, you better have an open mind when it comes to that. And we wanted to talk to an expert. Chris Dardis is a recruitment expert, and I hope I don't mangle this. Is it Verseek?
Nailed it. It's Verseek, yes.
Verseek, cool name. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, and look, I'm not involved day-to-day in recruitment. Our lead developer, Lee Huffman, is actually in charge of hiring other developers, and our lead salespeople and CEO usually collaborate and interview when it comes to sales and marketing. But can you set expectations? How have things changed?
Well, things are as competitive as ever when it comes to hiring, quite frankly, attracting and retaining the best talent in the marketplace. It is a candidate short market in the professional realm for sure. And what we've seen is the divergence of cultures between, yes, the millennials and myself, a Gen Xer and everything like that, where I think individuals still all want the same things, but we've found that the younger generations are a little more vocal about what they want and will stand up for it. I've heard you mention work-life balance and saying things like that. If you're an employer out there, I would really encourage you to take work-life balance and strike that from your vocabulary, because what we've been seeing is the younger generation, as they're showing up in the workforce, just wants to show up as their authentic self. And so what that means to them is, yeah, they're going to work, but they're going to live their life too. And when they're living their life, they might work. So instead of using work-life balance, I would really encourage hiring leaders to start using the term work-life blend. How can we blend both my work life and my home life to work well with one another?
Okay, so let me ask the obvious dumb question here, Chris, which I'm perfectly capable of. When I hear work-life balance, I mean, I guess I worked in an industry where there wasn't much balance. I mean, if you wanted to get ahead, you worked longer hours, you worked weekends, you worked a second or third job. What does that mean? Does that mean working smarter? Does that mean cutting the cord when you're home, when you're on the weekends? Please don't bother me unless it's an emergency. Don't expect me to be on call, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. What does that really mean, the work-life blend?
Well, I think that means that individuals, through technology or whatever, are able to get work requirements done in a myriad of locations and at different times of the day. And I think what newer employers are looking for now is, please don't judge me on how much you see my face, but on the quality of the work that I create for you. And that's the biggest shift that we've seen. As Verseek is a recruitment firm here in the Twin Cities, one of the very first questions that we hear from a lot of our candidates that are interviewing for roles are, what's that work-life balance over there? How do they respect that? Will they let me work from home when I need to? Will they let me get my kids off the bus at 3:30? And that's typically what they ask even before salary at this point.
Did you just say work-life balance, Chris?
Did I say that? I'm sorry. I meant work-life blend.
Oh, my gosh. Work-life blend.
Yes.
Gonna get a tattoo. Gonna get some ink right here on my forehead. Work-life blend.
Yes.
And again, it's always struck me as organized madness to some degree that so many of us get into our vehicles and we sludge through the morning commute and we half an hour, whatever it takes, bus, car, just the hassle factor to do things in an office that we could do at home? Now, granted, you're not getting the collaboration, you're not getting the FaceTime with fellow colleagues and possibly prospects, but at least, 60, 70, 80% of the stuff you do, most of us do, if you have a good internet connection, you could do from home. So this whole notion of, telework, right? Is that's catching on, working from home a day or two a week?
Yeah, it is, but I would agree with you. I think as a leader of a team over here, there's nothing more important for me as a leader than the collaboration amongst the team and really in building community within the team here. So we have a daily 9:30 meeting where we all get together and we set our intentions and we set our goals for the day. But from there, there's a lot of autonomy as to how we get our work done. So we've found a way to hopefully blend both worlds and grant some autonomy for people to succeed in how they go about their day.
What's the biggest mistake that employers or employees make? All of us want to work for employers where we feel valued, right? Where we have that sense of balance, where we feel like we can contribute. There's a level playing field. Hopefully not a lot of office politics. But can you give us some guidelines, when it comes to hygiene and best practices, not only for employers, but let's say you're out there and you're smart and you've got great prospects. What's the best way to take the next step?
I think this, like if you're looking to drive engagement within your company and you're looking to attract employees and retain employees, number one, at the center of everything, I think there has to be an element or an environment of trust. That is the core of everything that's going to build engagement. But around that, you have to provide meaningful work. People have to believe they're doing meaningful work. It really, really helps if you feel like you're part of a winning team. And then you said it earlier, Paul, you have to feel like you're a valued member. So if you're a leader within an organization, if you're providing that environment of trust, you're showing individuals how they're a valued member of the team, you're pointing out to them how their work is meaningful, and you're continuing to win, I think that's really is what's going to drive engagement. But you said, what's a mistake that individuals either on the hiring side or on the candidate side can make? I think drawing lines in the sand and saying, like, nope, this is the way we've always done it. For example, no, it's a 40-hour week and you have to be in your seat. I think that is going to make things hard for hiring in this sort of environment. And if you're a candidate, if you say, nope, I absolutely have to work from home 3 days a week, otherwise I can't get the job done, those are discussions that both that employees are more open to having now more than ever, I found, because we've really moved past the traditional benefits like salary and money and health care and how much vacation time I get, where a lot of what is winning candidates over are the soft benefits. And the soft benefits are really the non-traditional benefits that add a lot of value for the employee, but don't necessarily carry as great of an increased cost. So we're seeing companies that are offering, job sharing opportunities. We're seeing companies that offer paid sabbaticals after they've been there for a while.
Well, that sounds nice.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Paternity leave for when you get a pet. One interesting story I heard is Airbnb. You've heard of that company. Mm-hmm. Each employee at Airbnb receives $2,000 every year to travel anywhere in the world. So it's
wow.
Sort of soft benefits and unique offerings that are really going to help drive that engagement and help you retain your best employees.
And I would say this is no longer a luxury, offering at least being open to coming up with creative solutions for would-be employees. It's still a tight labor market. I talk to more CEOs, more managers who say that they cannot attract, they can't find smart people. They can't keep them. And churn, having people go out the door and having to retrain, I mean, that's no fun. And it seems like, every business you take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So retaining good people is always a challenge, but in this tight labor market, it's more of a challenge than ever. So you would say that creativity and being open to maybe things that you might not be as open to 20, 30 years ago, that's really essential?
It absolutely is, and there's a real appetite for figuring out what clients are doing. We're hosting an event about a month from now that we're talking about creative benefits and what are companies doing to attract and retain, well beyond the traditional benefits that we've spoken about before. So yeah, it's a really hot topic. I think at last count, I believe in December, unemployment from a professional perspective was, I think it was under 3% here in the Twin Cities.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have, but it's still a problem, right?
You're right.
All right. Hey, this was very interesting, Chris, and thank you for weighing in. Chris Dardis, recruitment expert at Verseek, and you're here in the Twin Cities, right?
We're here in the Twin Cities, servicing clients and candidates both.
Awesome. Well, thank you for weighing in. Appreciate your perspective, Chris.
Thanks, Paul.
You bet. Have a good one.
Bye.
Pray for spring.